guys, welcome back to reading. So, like I said, today we are going to read a nonfiction piece. If we remember, nonfiction is a story of events and it has facts that can be proven and backed up. A lot of time there are dates and places in nonfiction stories, and they are true stories and they're based on things that happened in real life. So basically just telling about actual events that took place. So today our nonfiction story is called March On. It's like this. And it's about women voting. Okay? So kind of like a reading history lesson all in one. How can people make their lives better? One way is to work together. 100 years ago, women in America were not allowed to vote. That meant that they could not pick their leader or help decide on laws and rules. Many women and men did not think this was fair, so they got together to protest. They marched and made speeches. They carried picket signs. People listened. In 1920, women got the right to vote. Okay, so we can already, even though this is like a real life event, talking about how women protested in order to get the right to vote, we can already make a connection to the cow story that we read yesterday. Because remember, cows wanted the farmer to give them what they wanted. So they all got together and had a meeting and they protested, which means that protesting can mean that you make signs and march around and basically say what you want until they give it to you. And in this case, the cows just kept typing, saying, we're not going to do this unless you do this for us, okay? So we can already see a connection between the two stories. For many years, Black people in our country did not have the same rights as other people. Some jobs would not hire Black people. Some stores would not let them shop, and some schools would not let Black children in. Many people did not think this was fair. It's not fair, right? So they got together and they marched. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. made speeches. He said all people should have the same rights. People listened, laws were passed, and that said all people must be treated equally. Okay, so once women got the right to vote, Black people did not have the same rights as white people. And a man named Martin Luther King Jr., who we celebrate in January, gave a huge speech about how colored people and non-colored people should all have the same rights and there shouldn't be a division and we should be one country all together, okay? So in the 1960s, people all over the country got together to help farm workers. Many of these workers came to this country to pick crops, but they did not get much money. They did not have good places to live or schools or children. People worked together to change this. Leaders like Cesar Chavez organized the workers. People all over the country marched with them. The farmers listened. They gave the workers more pay and better homes. So it is impossible to improve our lives if we work together. Okay, so we have a theme with both stories. The theme is working together. So in our fantasy story we read yesterday, the cows and the barn animals wanted something, and they wanted the farmer to give it to them. And in order to get this done, they all would huddle together and they work together, okay? Now, just like in the story I read today, yes, this is nonfiction and it's real life things that happened, such as women getting the right to vote and farmers getting rights and colored people getting rights. How did it all change? How were all these people able to get equal rights? Well, people worked together in the country and they kind of came together and they worked together. So the theme of both stories is working together, okay? So you guys are gonna answer a couple questions. How are both stories similar? So how is the story yesterday, click, clack, moo, moo, similar to what I just read. And I said it earlier in this video, so you guys can go back. So how are they similar? Number 2, how are they different? Well, they're different genres. So we know that one story is realistic, one story is not. So you guys can tell me something about that. And what is the theme of both stories, which I also just said. So these are pretty simple questions. As long as you were listening, should be able to answer them. And you guys are going to do that today for homework, okay? And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.